1960s. Then we swing into the early half of the 1970s with artists like the Guess Who, the Doobie Brothers, and Elton John. Every song brings back something you remember about growing up. Set a button and crank up the station. Playing good time rock and roll from the Tower of Power. Cruisin' 98.3 WSVZ.
WTIM. Good morning, Central Illinois, and welcome to the WTIM Pana Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, along with Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, Bob Riding's Pana, and Okanee Chop Shop. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and we start things off with Erica Matthews. Erica Matthews is the owner and founder of the Autism and Movement Project, or AMP, which is based in Pana, and she joins us to start things off. Erica, good to talk to you this morning.
Hi, it's great to talk to you too.
Yes, yeah, and it's the first time actually you've been on in my time hosting this show. I think we were scheduled to have you on a couple months ago. That fell through, and we have you on now. So for regular listeners of the show, maybe they've heard about this program before, and it's maybe been a little while. Why don't you just give a bit of an overview about what AMP is and how it came to be?
Yeah, so AMP is a dance program. So like our mission is to empower neurodivergent individuals and those with special needs through movement-based learning, sensory integration. We also do life skills development and compassionate community support. That's where the Brew and Hope Coffee House comes in. So we like to create a safe place with inclusive environments where we can really work on those strengths to help those kids reach those goals of, speaking, talking, peer engagement, making friends, getting ready for school. All the great things that the kids get to experience there.
And one of the things that stands out, and it kind of, I guess, escaped my memory from when you were last on the show when Grayson hosted it, is you mentioned like the dance part of it. Talk about how for someone who is neurodivergent growing up, that like dance specifically, compared to maybe other activities, how that could help them grow and develop.
Right. So movement actually wakes up the brain. So the movement that we do work on a lot of cross-body motions. We work on patterns and sequencing to specific music that helps the brain bridge the left and right hemispheres to help create a smooth pathway for information to flow. So the movement that we specifically target helps our students kind of build those connections while also helping their body regulate and figure out where they are in space. So it's a whole body experience.
I love it. Now, so you mentioned music. Are we talking like theater music, top 40 music? What are these songs that you typically use?
Yeah, so in the very beginning, we use a lot of more instrumental classical music. We also use a lot of metronome, so that kind of helps the body get into sync. And then as the classes kind of grow and the kids grow, we change up the music. I mean, I can't play a bunch of rap or anything, but we do like to rock out to a lot of the 80s hair bands. And for a while, we were on the K-pop Demon Hunters, soundtrack. So they kind of go through phases. As long as I don't have to listen to Cocomelon all the time, I'm pretty flexible.
Yeah, no, that's a good plan with that and the rap thing as well that you mentioned. But no, luckily there's plenty else out there that works for that. So yeah, talk about I guess we'll back up a little bit. So, you mentioned kind of the benefits of doing dance with this. Was that like essentially your idea? Was that like a big part of like the founding of this project? Kind of talk about how that came about.
Yeah. So how AMP came about is what AMP is at the core is autism movement therapy. And autism movement therapy was designed and created by Joanne Lara, who was a special ed teacher, and she was a dancer before that. And so she incorporated what she loved into the classroom and realized that the kids were much more regulated after doing specific movements. And so she did her research, and it's all scientifically based how movement and music helps regulate the nervous system and help the brain create pathways and all the really good stuff. And so what I did is that I went to school in college, and my friend had told me about autism therapy over at Charleston, a woman named Julia doing dragonflies with her son. And so I was like, okay. Connor Taylor is who I started AMP for. My mother was his aide, and that's how I kind of knew about autism. He was about 7 at this time, and he had echolalia, so he was just repeating what we would say. And so we went over there every Saturday, and after class, he was much more calm on the way home. And no matter how hard I try, I was really kind of struggling, kind of hitting a wall, getting him to progress a little more with me. That was when I heard about Joanne Laura and Temple Grandin coming to Eastern to speak. And so when I went there, I saw that Joanne had created a DVD called Autirobics, and it was a home-based dance program that she created. And so I did that with Connor every day for 2 weeks after school. And after that 2 weeks, I came in and I asked Connor, where's mom? Only expecting him to, repeat me. And he goes, she's upstairs. So for the first time in 8 years, he created his own sentence. And so I was like, yep, this is it. And so I flew out to LA and I got licensed and certified in autism therapy. My mom was an aide, so some of the families that she'd worked with, those 6 families took a leap of faith on me and joined my class. And so those 6 have now grown over to 100 and over 145 clients.
Wow, that's a lot of growth. I remember you sharing that story with Grayson, because I listened to the interview after the fact. So no, that was a fascinating story, and it really stood out to me when I heard about that the first time you mentioned it. Well, when I was in earshot at some point.
Yeah.
So that was super fascinating. So it sounds like just so I sort of remember correctly, right? So the inspiration behind getting this young individual to try the dancing part of this, it was from like someone else who like taught dance or like did dance and then decided to like teach it. Is that what it was?
Yeah. So Joanne, she created the whole program, and so I'm licensed and certified in her program in autism therapy, and so I really didn't, I'm going to be 100% honest, I really at the time didn't understand how movement or dance could impact so deeply. So I'm like, if it's that easy, everybody would do it. Not going to lie, it's not easy, but, just that concept of it. And so when Connor spoke that first independent sentence, I was like, yep, I'm devoting my whole life to this because I've seen it. Not everyone's going to, understand it, but when you see it, it's amazing. And so we've had a lot of clients walk for the first time, talk for the first time, have friends for the first time, jobs. I am blessed that I do have a job where I get to see a lot of firsts, which is my driving factor.
Seeing a lot of firsts. I feel like you hit the nail on the head right there with talking about that. So that is just so amazing and inspiring, I think, of hearing about all of that. So you're based in Pana. It sounds like there are 2 different locations where you're kind of involved in this. Tell our listeners about them.
Yeah, so my first building is at 11 South Locust. That one houses my little, so this is my students who are, my youngest that I've had is 6 months old, with one-on-one, so that varies on what they do in their sessions, to little group, which is age 3 through age 7. So that group is, will have between 8 to 10 clients in there, and that's where we kind of work on more social skills, getting them school ready, art, science. Then at my other location at 215 South Locust, that is our building where we house Brew and Hope Coffee House, which is our second non-for-profit where my adults run the coffee house. So at the top of the building, we hold classes for my social group, which is my junior high age students, and then Jumpstart, which is for my high school adults. In the basement of this building, we also hold Adventure Play, which is our sensory gym that we rent out for birthday parties, and we also use for class.
Okay, so it seems like you cover pretty much the entire age spectrum, starting at like 6 months, you said. So, yeah, I mean, like talk about what goes into like creating like all of these kind of, sub programs for all of the age groups.
Yeah, well, it kind of just grew as AMP grew. When I started, we had 6 clients. Those 6 clients became older, And as they got older, we started getting some other older clients, and that was when I realized there's not a whole lot for our individuals after they graduate high school. So I had 4 students at this time who were older that we just created Jumpstart just to see how it would go. And we would try a few times going to businesses around town to volunteer. Unfortunately, a lot of businesses wouldn't let us volunteer because they would say that we were a liability. So Mr. Cross, who owned Oak Street Station, which was right behind us, an older building, he had owned a restaurant, and he allowed us to come over and practice job skills. And he kind of fell in love with our kids. He'll admit that he didn't realize how special our kids were and how much he would actually love working with them. And he convinced me to hold like some food fundraisers. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do food. I would like to do like an animal shelter. And he's like, no, you should do this. And I was like, okay. So we did a few of them, and the kids loved it. And so we did a few more, and they were actually really good at the whole food and customer service. And Mr. Cross had mentioned about a coffee house, and I was like, I don't know. I'm still going for the animal shelter if I start another business. But he wore me down, and we started Brew and Hope Coffee House November 29th, 2019, right before COVID. And we have survived through COVID because of the community support and Mr. Cross's faith in us. And he saw it before I did. So I'm always grateful to Mr. Cross. But our classes grow as our students grow. So right now we have 27 adults. So Brew and Hope currently right now is open Fridays and Saturdays, 7 to 11. So now that I've had more adults, we're looking at expanding our days and times.
No, everything you described just gets more and more inspiring as you keep going. And I'd love to let you keep going. I'll tell you what, let's take a break. And when we come back, I want to talk about how community members can get involved, either as participants or really in any sort of role. So let's talk about that after the break, right here on the WTIM Pana Morning Show on your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Does your bank offer rewards on qualified signature-based debit card purchases? If not, then we need to talk. Hi, my name is Julie Sanchez with People's Bank and Trust. Join the growing number of our customers who are earning cash back on all qualifying debit card purchases. You already use your debit card. Now make it work for you with Save by Spending rewards from People's Bank and Trust. Earning rewards is as easy as shop, sign, and save. Call 888-PBT-1954 and find out more about our Save by Spending rewards program today. People's Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hi, Brian at Bob Ridings in Pana. Come get your new ride before you go on vacation. It's time for less miles and more room with our Expeditions, Wagoneers, Pacificas, Voyagers, and as always, Jeep Wranglers in stock. You can fight high fuel prices with the Jeep 4xE models. Don't forget about our new service expanded hours with oil changes starting at 7:30 and free local pickup and delivery of your vehicle. And while you're back there, please welcome Zach, who is a local area veteran, to our parts and service department.
Looking for quality meat you can trust? Come to Okanee Chop Shop, where it's truly from the pasture to the plate. Now scheduling beef and hog processing. So call 217-539-0003 today. Appointments are filling fast. We're also hiring a full-time butcher. Experience preferred, but we're willing to train the right person. Apply in person or give us a call. Now offering wholesale processing plus beef and pork bundles always available. Stop it today at 109 U.S. Highway 51 in Okanee. Okanee Chop Shop, from the pasture to the plate.
I'm Police Chief Andrew Pistorius with the Sullivan Police Department, here to talk about a topic no one wants to discuss: depression that many times leads to suicide. When a person is going through such feelings, many times family and friends don't know how to help. But there is help. If you feel depressed or lonely, there are many resources to help you. Call a trusted relative, friend, or minister, or call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline toll-free at 800-273-TALK. That's 800-273-TALK. All of us are here to help.
If you're 40 and over, you'll recognize these artists by their first names. Frank, Dean, Sammy, Andy, Nat, Diana, Michael. Well, here's the big news. You can now hear Central Illinois' largest music library with over 3,500 songs on air and online at 965thechill.com. Tune in on the FM dial in Christian County and on your computer or smartphone. Hear these great artists and many more 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on 965thechill.com.
Hey there, loyal listeners. This is your team at Regional Radio with a quick heads up. Some of the great programming you enjoy throughout the day is pre-recorded, but don't worry. We're still bringing you the same local content you love. Our legal team insisted we mention this, and hey, keeping the attorneys happy keeps us on the air. So thanks for tuning in and being part of the Regional Radio family. We're proud to bring local, compelling content to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
WTIM.
And we're back on the WTIM Pana Morning Show on your information station. The show is sponsored by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, along with Pizza Man, Noren's Hardware, Bob Ridings Pana, and Okanee Chomp Shop. I'm your host, Reed Kamai, and I continue my conversation with Erica Matthews, founder and owner of the Autism and Movement Project, or AMP, in Pana. And we've talked about what they do there, and heard some really inspiring stories about some results that they got in that program. Now, maybe you've been listening and you are thinking about getting you or your child involved in what it is they have. And Erica, I'd love to hear how folks can get themselves enrolled or otherwise involved in AMP.
Yeah, so we have a website. It's AMP, AAMP, learningcenter.org. And on there, you can message us and we set up an evaluation. So our evaluation process consists of about a 45-minute eval. And the eval is solely just to see where their strengths and weaknesses are so that we can create the best individualized plan for them, whether that is in one-on-one or in a group setting.
Okay, so you start with the evaluation, and then how does it kind of go after that?
Yep. So after evaluation, we look at if they need one-on-one. Then we look at available dates and times, and if it's in group, then that too we kind of look at days and times because there are specific days and times that we run our groups. So right now we do currently have a waiting list, which we've never had before. Completely grateful for, but at the same time also trying to figure out how we can make sure that we can accommodate those families as quickly as possible.
All right, so yeah, waiting list for as far as you folks go probably sounds like a good problem. Are you also looking to maybe bring in some more staff to help cover all of that?
Yes.
What's kind of in the pipeline for that?
Absolutely. The only problem is that I'm super picky, but we do have a lot of people that have been through our programs that kind of have stayed with us for years and then go off to find other jobs. Currently, right now, we do have staff members that have been with us for a very long time. And one thing that I am grateful for is that our staff really does take time to learn about the individual, learn their families, and make sure that we create the best program for them. So I'm always looking for individuals who are energetic and willing to constantly learn.
Yeah, I mean, learning is definitely what it's all about. So yeah, that's how that works. And then in terms of kind of like what the first days for someone at certain ages of the program are like, how does that go for getting them acclimated with about 90 seconds to go?
Yeah, so it kind of just depends on the individual. Sometimes it's more just allowing them to explore the space, focus solely on sensory. If it's in group, we kind of make sure that we have an easier day, more of the fun-filled games so that we make sure that they feel completely safe and ready to be engaged with their peers.
And that's right. And getting them settled in. I know that's something I would need if I were starting in a program like that. Certainly if I were a lot younger, I can tell you that much. So so that's kind of how it works. You mentioned a website. Do you have a social media presence at all?
Yes, we also are on Facebook as well. So you can find us on Facebook underneath AMP. The other Facebook ones would be Brew and Hope Coffee House and Building 215. The Building 215 is the one that houses AMP, Brew and Hope, and Adventure Play.
All right. So that's a little more of the contact information. Now, for like actually like getting in contact with you folks to enroll someone quickly, is that something a call? Is that online? How does that work?
So we do it. We do that through online through the amplearningcenters.org, and they would send an email to us, and then we would be in contact with them on a phone call or through email, whichever one works best for them to get everything set up.
Sounds good. Erica Matthews with AMP. Erica, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yes, and thank you for listening to the WTIM Pana Morning Show.
The Big 870 WTIM Assumption Taylorville.
96.1 FM Taylorville.
107.5 FM Shelbyville.
107.9 FM